Jermaine, what led you to play basketball back in the day?
What allowed me to play basketball, I never really liked basketball. I just liked to watch it because I knew it took a lot of hard work and a lot of running, to actually compete. But I never really planned my life out to play basketball. I don't know what I wanted to do when I was younger. But basketball just came in, just out of nowhere, and I went from just throwing the ball at the basket to, actually getting paid to play the sport. So it was like I never really, like the kids today, they want to be like LeBron, and Kobe Bryant. I grew up not even really knowing what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to watch the games when they came on TV. I never looked at it as a career.
So who did you, considering that when you were a kid, you weren't too sure as far as like what you wanted to do as a career, but you did mention that you liked to play basketball. Oh, not so much, but you enjoyed watching it, correct?
Yes,
So,
yeah.
As a child, who were the players that you really looked up to? Who were like the athletes, the superstar athletes, or maybe the non-superstar athletes that you admired and really enjoyed watching?
Anybody that came up around my time would say Michael Jordan. I mean, I wear shoes, I have like all his clothes. I mean, I spent so much money on this guy, and I would have to say pretty much just Michael Jordan, even though Patrick Ewing was around the time and those other superstars. But I have to pin it down to Michael Jordan. I mean, it's an unbelievable guy.
What are some of the fondest memories you have as a child playing? Because I'm sure there must have been a point when you realized, hey, I got a knack for playing this game. Whether it's because you might have had a height advantage at such a young age, or whether because you just sincerely realized that, yeah, I got some skills. So, well, what memories do you have as a kid when you were playing ball?
The memories I had as a kid as playing ball was really sad because I was the tallest one out of everybody, but I was the worst. I couldn't dribble. I mean, guys would shake me on the court, make me fall, I would get dunked on. So I think that helped me get better and want to get better by getting beat up by
Your peers?
Yeah, by my peers. And when I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and in a housing project. So it was kind of hard to actually do what you really wanted to do. So it was kind of like it was basketball or nothing. So the childhood part was like, how every kid today that say, I want to be a police officer, fireman, because that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But as I got older, it's like, basketball was kind of like a ticket on the way. I wasn't thinking about, making it to the NBA or, getting out of the hood and stuff like that. It just dawned on me that I'm tall, and everybody would say, hey, you need to play basketball, And I said, just because you're tall, it doesn't mean you have to play basketball. Yeah. But I mean, I kind of took that into consideration, and thanks to the guys that I grew up with for beating me down the way they did. I mean, taking no mercy on me, which made me want to, be better than they were and be better than the guys I compete with, whether it's college level, overseas, high school. And then like high school was probably the growing part of my years. But I was still
back in high school.
Yeah, back in high school. Malcolm X Shabazz, Newark, New Jersey.
Oh wow.
But I actually been to 4 different high schools, which is sad. But just the guys, just not taking any mercy on me, which made me, really want to do it, and not just to go, like I said, to go to the NBA, just to say, okay, I've accomplished that, and I got better at that. Just like guys that go to school, they go to school, they want to get a good grade. So after spending the whole semester at school, they get a good thing at the end. So as basketball, I put all this work and time in through the years, and I got something good at the end.
How old would you say you were when you realized that playing basketball was something you could actually pursue? That you realized that I might have the physical ability, I might be able to have the skill set that could actually take me towards a possible NBA career. Did someone just tell you, hey? I mean, you've hinted at since you were a kid that people have been telling you that you got to play ball because you got that height advantage,
Right.
And you've also said that you also struggled because just because you had that height advantage, the talent didn't just come naturally. I'm guessing, right?
Right.
So, but I got to say, eventually you realize, hey, I might be onto something here. And I was wondering, how old were you when you realized that?
I can't really put a number on the age, on how old I was, but when I was starting to get serious about it, when coaches and scouting people would call me and say, hey, we want you to come to this camp. Some of the most prestigious camps on the East Coast, the ABCD camp, East Coast Invitational. They will call me for these things. You don't get calls from these people if you're not, more than half decent.
Yeah.
So when they called me, I said, well, they must just want me for my height because I was every team has some kind of tall guy on the team, whether he's good or not.
Yeah.
But it was when they started to call me. And I started planning games, and my name was in the paper, for something positive, and it just made me want to grow from that. I had a long career. I mean, it's so long, man. I got stories for days, in different countries as well as the U.S. I would say about maybe 17, 18. And then even then I still wasn't serious because I knew I was tall and I thought I was was the man because I was tall.
Yeah.
But then, playing against other guys, then I actually woke up and said, okay, there's other guys out there that practice more than you, that's bigger than you, that's stronger than you or faster. So I would say about maybe 18, 19, when they started calling and asking and inviting me to these camps that cost $500 to sign in, and I'm going in there for free. So I think it was about 18, 19 where I was trying to get a little serious about it,
Yeah. So you just clarify. So how tall are you now?
I'm 6'9".
6'9". And so when you're a high school senior, I mean, would you say you've grown much since then, or?
You know what? This crazy thing. I was looking at some clippings the other day, and they said they had a 6'6" senior to be. So I'm thinking about in 11th grade, I was about 6'5", 6'6".
Okay.
So my growth spurts was like every other 2 years, kind of.
Okay.
So it's kind of like stopped at 6'9", and that was pretty much it.
That was the cap, huh?
That was the cap.
I'm talking about these. I mean, I can't imagine what it feels like to be recruited, or maybe it's not so much recruited, but to be pursued. To go to these camps and to be looked at by scouts. I mean, I could only imagine as a teenager, man, it must feel really exciting. Right?
It does. It does. Well, it was an exciting time for me because my family, we didn't have much money for me to participate in these activities, and it was one of the best things ever. It was like hitting the lottery. But when you go to these camps, it's not about just you. Now you have Tree Small with this guy from Georgia, and this guy from Los Angeles, this guy from Canada, and this guy.
It's an international.
Yeah, they kind of like handpick, certain guys will actually
the cream
on
of the
the
crop?
East Coast. Yeah, the cream of the crop. They put them all together and see who comes out, on top, who comes out second, third, fourth, fifth, and not to toot my own horn, but I came out first.
Okay.
And there was no jump shots, it was no handling, it was just me being tall and me being aggressive, and I would dunk the ball like every time. And that's kind of rare with somebody that young to know how to do it. But like I said, when you grow up watching Jordan, Shaq in his early time, you kind of pick up that stuff. Just like, people pick up things in movies. And they do the things in real life. So it's like basketball, I kind of pick those things up and try to make that
integrated that into
try to make that an image of myself.
You did mention that you were from New Jersey, right?
Yes.
All right, but
Yes.
you're in California now.
Yeah.
And I know it's been a long time between now and when you were in high school.
Yeah.
But you played at LACC in the past, haven't you?
Yes.
This isn't your first time.
This is not my first time. From New Jersey to California, wow, that was pretty cool. When I was getting recruited for basketball, it wasn't just Los Angeles City College. It was, if I can remember right, I think it was Chipola in Florida. It was a couple of schools in Texas, a couple of New York schools, a couple of local schools, and actually the coach from LA City, came to the projects. I mean, this is rare. This is like a movie. Like, he actually came to the projects. And he came to talk to me personally instead of emails and phone calls. And I said, why would he want Tree to go all the way out there? There's a lot of guys out there that's that in California alone, that in Los Angeles, that would want the opportunity that he flew out 3,000 miles away for to come get me. So obviously, I played in the scouting service called EKB, Ed Butler Scouting Service.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for that guy, I don't think I would have got the looks that I have.
So working with playing for the scouting service?
It's called Ed Butler's Scout EKB. I don't know if he's still doing it now. I haven't spoken to him in like years.
Okay.
But it was a choice for me to pick a school. I said Los Angeles. The first thing when he said Los Angeles, I thought gangs. I said, no way. I'm not going to LA. I don't care how much ice cream the story up. I'm not coming to LA. That's just out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was just what I knew from watching TV.
Okay.
And what I thought how LA was, because the whole LA is like that.
Yeah, it had its reputation.
Yes, it had definitely had its reputation.
This must have been in the early 90s, mid 90s?
This
Or was
was
it in the late 90s?
late 90s.
Late
90s. I think Tupac was just killed, or
Yeah,
Biggie
yeah,
Small,
yeah.
and it was like East Coast, West Coast, and it was a hard decision to make, because I knew if I picked LA, then my family was out of the picture. Even though we had phone calls and things like that, I knew my family would have been out of the picture, but I kind of did it for them, and from like my nieces and nephews coming up to see that the uncle came from somewhere that was really no way out.
Mm-hmm.
To being, All-American and all this and all that at another school that, in another city that nobody knows about me.
Yeah.
And as far as playing here, I have a love and hate relationship with the school, and it's basically more with the basketball program. The coach here, Coach Miller, wonderful coach.
You played along?
I played under Coach Miller for
Okay.
2 years. My last year I left here All-American.
What years did?
I came in at 97, left around 99, 2000.
Okay.
And then transferred to Iona College, New York. Probably one of the best coaches ever. I probably wouldn't recommend anybody to play under him, because if you're not, if you don't have thick skin, you will break and you will be going back home.
Right.
And I've seen,
Okay.
I won't say hundreds, I'll say 20s or 30s of guys that I met from all over the country came and couldn't take it, and they went back home.
They couldn't take his coaching style.
They couldn't take. I mean, the traditional yelling,
Yeah.
the sit you down for this game. I've been through it. I mean, for me to get back on the team, I remember in '99, I had to run 3 miles a day for the whole summer. And he would stand out there with a pen and pad with the time clock and make sure I made and I wanted to quit then. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to quit by saying, you know what, I'm not gonna make this the reason why I'm getting sent back home.
Right.
Because it's just running, and then it's not punishment. I'm getting conditioned. I'm gonna be in shape. And long story short, I mean, it paid out, because I'm still running up and down the court like I'm 18, 19 years old. And I kind of appreciate the guy for putting me through that stuff. Even though some things were negative and some things were positive, I took it all and kind of filtered it out and kind of made to where I could be successful.
Okay.
I mean, because he's already successful, as you can see in the men's gym and the women's gym. It's 20, 30 jerseys on the wall.
Yeah. And the jersey. And
yes.
banners, yeah.
And I don't know all of them. I think I know maybe 75% of those guys up there. But each and every one of them could tell you playing at LA City was no walk in the park. I mean, you had to either come in here with just him liking you, just as a person, so he's going to treat you, a certain way, or you come in here and say, you know what, I'm here to play ball, I'm here to graduate. And it kind of worked out. I mean, to come somewhere and win all these honors, I mean, All-American is hard to get.
You're working.
Yeah, I was JC All-American here at LA City College. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And it was, I mean, it's just like hitting the lottery with no money. It's like hitting the lottery for your own personal, self to say, okay, hey, I was All-American there, 50 years from now.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody can't say that. Everybody can't say, okay, I graduated from Duke or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But I really appreciate the school. It was probably the biggest learning experience for me ever. To come here to play basketball and to go to class at the same time.
Be away from your family.
And being away from my family was like devastating. And then like tragedies will happen at home, and I can't get back home, so I'm here. It was really.
Must have been a lot for a young man just to.
Yeah, it was.
Do it on your own.
It was, because I didn't have no family. I didn't know where to go, or I just was under the coach, and he told me, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. But the one thing I did do, not to put any players out on the spot like that, but I actually went to class. And didn't just take my basketball ability and played like a god, like I didn't have to go to class. I mean, some classes I was like, hey, I'm not going today. I'm not gonna be honest, but I kind of took school just as serious as basketball because I know these knees aren't even gonna be able to jump and run forever.
Forever, right?
But my mind can go on forever.
Yeah.
I can always keep learning things. But basketball, it was just, I gotta say, it was a ticket out. I think it pretty much saved my life. Because all the guys I grew up with, unfortunately you are in jail for like a very long time, dead. You know, and these are guys that I hung out with, you know, every day.
Yeah.
In the win All-American here and call back home, and 3 of them already dead. It's like, wow. You know, so it's just it's pretty like I said, it's kind of like a love and hate kind of situation. Like I said, I could have went to New York Junior College
Right.
or you know,
Something
Florida,
closer,
something close, but I kind of just wanted to take that big step in life and just say, hey, let's just go to LA. Let's go to Los
for that
Angeles.
adventure.
Yeah, for the adventure. I mean, I would never took a trip out here to visit, you know, but just
Yeah.
getting a scholarship out of all these guys in this country that was hungry like I was.
Yep.
You know, and to get that, it's like I had to make the best of it.
Absolutely.
You know, I just had to make the best of it. And it kind of worked out pretty well, you know.